Hey everyone, I was talking about the expressions of consciousness with the Kabbalistic tree and Jacob's ladder, and with this, the expressions of consciousness. This is how actions are created. This is how all of the actions in this world start. So it starts as your thoughts. It starts as an idea in your head, then your emotions, your intuition, and your intent. This is how you process it. This is how you know if the thought is right or wrong, if the thought is good or bad, or what about it is good, what about it is bad. So once you know you have a good idea, and you know this with your intuition, if it's the right idea, then you form it into the physical form in reality. This right here, this is the Trinity or the Trivium. This is known as the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So Father, that's the thoughts. The Father carries the basic information. Then the Holy Spirit, this is the Mother. The mother knows if the information is wrong or right. The mother knows if the information is the right way to go. So these two come together. So when father and mother come together, they have an offspring. And this is the action, this is the physical. So it's always a male offspring. And this is, remember, odd numbers are masculine and even numbers are feminine. So it starts with 1. 1 is an odd number, that's male. Then combined with 2, 2 is an even number, that's the female. So 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 is an odd number, so it's male. So this right here, this is how you merge, you combine the left brain with the right brain. So the left brain, that's what takes in and regurgitates information, and the right brain is your intuition. So when you bring these two together and you merge the two, this is how you form the right actions in reality. So this is how everyone is supposed to process. You have to have a thought and you process your thoughts, and then you create the right actions in the physical realm in this world. So with these expressions of consciousness and the left and right brain, so this is, now, if you haven't been able to merge these two sides with your thoughts going into your intuition and then your actions, then what can happen is your consciousness can be split, and certain ones who want to use this however they want, they can split your consciousness. So these expressions of consciousness, if you act on you have a thought and you act on it without your intuition, without your intent, it could be someone is placing their bad intent into your actions with your thoughts. So you don't know if your thought could be a bad idea, but if you're not using your good intent, your intuition, someone can place their bad intent into your actions. And also, if you act on emotional, like impulse, without thinking, so you act on emotions, you have emotions with actions, someone can be controlling your thoughts. And this is heavily how our society and this system works, is controlling the thoughts of humanity. So they do this with, there's many different steps to this, but they do this with a lot of displays, a lot of things and events that happen in this world, and as this is what they do with their lesser magic displays. Like with 9/11, they do this with separating your consciousness. Now, first what they do is they do what's called predictive programming. See, this is what they do. They first they give you a choice. they show you what they're going to do before they do it. So with 9/11, they've been showing these images like these. These are from the 70s. And also this comic book. This is from the 60s. And they've also shown this in the 90s with a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies. So they've been showing what they're going to do on 9/11. They've been showing this for many years before they did it. So this gets into your consciousness. And they do this with a lot of other things in their society. They do this with just, I'm sure you've seen your whole life, they've shown that the power structure is clearly corrupt. And they've shown that they have laws that make no sense. And they also show this. There's a lot of other things, like a lot of things that make no sense, like the spinning globe Earth and like the Big Bang Theory and evolution. So if you're still going along with all of this, then whether you fully consciously realize it or not, you're choosing to serve a corrupt and insane institution that makes no sense. And this inability to correctly process information in your mind, this allows them to take advantage. So there's a lot of other steps to this. It really starts with education. It's really like just domesticating you into doing repetitive machine work. And it's also done through entertainment and hero worship. They show you this scenario your whole life. Like there's a crisis and everyone just waits for one superhero to save them. This also has to do with religion, the Christ hero worship. Millions of people are waiting for Christ to come back to save them. So they do this in reality, they have these fabricated crisis events. So what they do is, there's a lot of different names for what they do here. They call it like problem, reaction, solution, or like trauma-based mind control. But so basically you're trained to live in fear of a crisis. You live in fear of some like attack from a terrorist to happen, so you just wait to be saved by some outside force. And then once you're saved, you praise whoever saved you, and then you keep going back to just doing the same repetitive machine drone work instead of acting on what you know is right based on your intuition. So you stay in the cycle of living in fear of a crisis and waiting to be saved, and then the ones who created the crisis and put you in the situation in the first place, if you don't know it, then you keep going back to praising these fake heroes that put you in the situation in the first place. And that's what happened with 9/11. Like at 9/11, so the story was like Bin Laden brought down the Twin Towers, and we got to get the military to go in and stop him. Okay, well, now the story that they pushed on the public. Okay, so Bin Laden. Now most people think. Now what they heard was Bin Laden was hiding in the cave. Yeah, Bin Laden was in the cave. Okay, what this actually is referring to is. Okay, so the cave is actually from this book. This is called Republic, and it's by the philosopher Plato. Now, Plato described an allegory of the cave, and Plato was describing this kind of lower consciousness that society and the power structure has most people in. Okay, so in Plato's allegory of the cave, okay, so in this cave, so these people, they spend their whole life stuck in this dark cave where they can't see anything but a small light on the wall. And so these certain people decide to make shadows on the wall of these images, and this gets the attention of the people stuck in the cave. So they see these shadows, like some shadows appear pleasant, some makes them fear. And now, since this is where they've been their whole life, and this is all they've seen, these shadows on the wall, this is all they think reality is. Like, this is all they've seen, so this is all they know. So that's what they were talking about with the cave. So Bin Laden was in the cave. Now, Bin Laden, okay, now on 9/11, there were 3 schools of human consciousness and the ability to create using the laws of the divine masculine and divine feminine, or the sun and the black sun, with their connection on loop. There are 3 schools of this displayed on 9/11. They were Tarot, Freemasonry, and Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic tree of life. Now, the Kabbalistic tree, it shows you how to rise from a low consciousness to go up to learn how to create with the divine masculine, divine feminine, or the sun and black sun, and their connection on loop. So now once you rise from the bottom, once it gets towards the top, once you're at the top, you're at a level of really high understanding of learning the divine masculine and divine feminine. See, the top is the one. These are the top level, or what's called the top Sephiroth. Now, the third Sephiroth, this is known as understanding, and that's understanding the divine masculine and divine feminine. And another name for this, actually the original Hebrew name of this third Sephiroth is called Binah. And sometimes it's shortened to Bin. So Bin Laden. Now Bin Laden, Laden, sometimes it's been pronounced Laden. Now Laden, what does that word mean? The word Laden, that means heavy, or like heavily containing an amount of something. So Bin Laden, now that wasn't literally a man named Bin Laden in a cave. What they're talking about is they're using a heavy amount of manipulating consciousness to create, using the 3 schools like Tarot, Freemasonry, and Kabbalah for the cave. And that's Plato's allegory of the cave. So you think in the cave there's a guy with a beard in the Middle East that did this on 9/11. Well, really, that's really just like a shadow puppet. It's like, that's all you think, but I mean, that's all you've been trained to think is reality. Actually, this bin, this Sephiroth, this, once you get to this level, this Sephiroth, this is known to be closely, like the closest knowledge as the power of the divine masculine, divine feminine, or the Holy Grail, the sun and the black sun. So once you get to this, you have this really high knowledge of the basically the Holy Grail, the Vril, the power of the black sun, or Saturn, or Satan. So what they're doing with the Sephiroth and Bin Laden, see, they had everyone fear Bin Laden, that he's this horrible terrorist that's gonna attack again, and we gotta send the government to go and stop him. And this is what they do with the Bin Laden, or the Binah, that Sephiroth. This is closely related to the power of Saturn. This is the power of the black sun. And I mean, to this day, people still have this fear when they hear the black sun, there's a black sun below. They think that's something evil. And so it's the same way they have you fear Bin Laden, or Binah, the Sephiroth. You're feeding it fear. So people think the black sun, when they hear black sun below, they think, it's down there in hell. And they hear like Satan and also Lucifer. They think it's the same. They think it's like the devil. Well, first of all, the devil, Lucifer, and Satan these are three different entities. Yeah, the devil, Lucifer, and Satan are three different things. Okay, the devil hides intent. The devil keeps intent to himself, or has a selfish intent. That's why the devil has your soul in the Vatican. Really, the Vatican is really a picture-perfect identity of the devil. Okay, the Vatican, they want to own your soul. They want to own you. And they really want to own everything in the world. Like the Vatican and the Roman Empire, they've been trying to own the entire world for centuries. And they want to own everything and keep it for themselves. Again, selfish. So they do this with documents of what's called a bonded surety and a trust. This is where they basically promise to keep property safe. They say, well, we're going to we'll hold your property for safekeeping. But what they do with this kind of document is they use the structure of the document and the wording to end up just keeping the property for themselves. Okay, an example of this kind of document is your birth certificate with your soul print. So they claim with this document they own your soul. And so they're taking they have all these soul prints of these birth certificates. They're trying to take all the souls of the world, all these documents, and clearly they're trying to own everything in the world. The Vatican has this huge palace with all this stolen property, all this properties stolen from people all over the world. And also the Vatican has a lot of stolen artifacts from all over the world. So that's the devil. Okay, now Lucifer is the goddess of the earth. This is what you connect with by earthing. When you put your feet on dry soil, it literally heals you. So people have been doing this for centuries. People all over the world, when you put your bare feet on dry soil and connect with the feminine energy coming from the earth, if you're sick, this will heal you. So if you're having physical or mental problems, when you connect with this feminine energy, it increases health. This has been known for centuries by cultures all over the world. Now, so that's Lucifer. Now Satan and the power of what they call Satan, and the reason, like my brother Quasi-Luminous, the reason he says he's Satan. Now when you say the power of Satan, and it's also known as the power of Saturn. Now before this got this incorrect idea of what it is today, now this power of Saturn or Satan, now this has had a lot of different names going back centuries. Now going back centuries, Saturn was known as the son of Terra. Now this is another one that's had a lot of names over the years. Now another name for Terra is Lilith, and this is another name for the goddess of the earth, the feminine energy coming from like the vril, from the center of the earth. So now Saturn, another name for Saturn was Cronus. So this god Cronus, this god was known for controlling, like, basically Cronus controlled time and space. And also another name for Cronus was Abraham. Now Abraham was known for controlling agriculture and the harvest. Now Abraham was a lot of times seen with this image with the harvesting sickle. See, he controlled agriculture and the harvest. Now Abraham, his Phoenician name was actually Israel. See, Israel. Now this name is actually three names combined into one. Israel. Okay, so this comes from the name Isis. Now Ra, that's one of the names for the sun above our head. And El is one of the many names for the black sun. So this Israel was one of the names for Abraham. And to the Venetians, Abraham or Israel was known for teaching how to use the earth. And this is related to using agriculture in the harvest. So you have Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. So Isis, that's the feminine goddess. That's like the goddess of the earth, with the vril coming from the center of the earth. So Ra is the sun above our head, and El is the black sun. So Abraham, or Israel, was teaching her how to use agriculture and the harvest, and it all has to do with these different parts of the earth: the black sun, the feminine energy, and the white sun, Ra. So Abraham was known for mastering the sickle. That's why he was seen with the harvesting sickle. Now that even though you see him with this tool, this harvesting sickle, now what this is actually referring to is the harvesting cycle. Notice the word sickle is close to the word cycle. So it's the harvesting cycle. It's like you plant a crop, you wait for it to grow, and then once it's grown, you have the harvest. So Abraham was known for mastering and controlling agriculture and the harvest and time and space. Really, harvesting is just controlling time and space. It's like you plant a seed in a space, and in time, you wait and you get a harvest. So what Quasi-Loomis is doing is he's taking Satan, or Saturn's, power of the ownership of the world's time and space, and he's taking it out of just like he's taking it out of the physical. Like Christ the Son has already got it in the physical realm. You see, like Christ the Son, Christ is the Son, and this is the earth's memory. So now once it's been written into the memory, like once it's brought into the physical realm, it's brought into physical reality, and then it's already here. And it's in the past. Like, if you're trying to change the past, you can't, like natural law says, once it's in the past, you can't change it. You can't change the past. What you can change is the future. You can write anything into the future, and you do this by speaking your intent. That comes from the black sun. So the ruling elite, they get you to be afraid. Like when you hear the black sun below, and so when you're afraid, you think it's something evil, and you think it's the devil. Well, then you're just feeding fear into the black sun. See, this is the ruling elite placing their bad intent into your thoughts and actions. So you're just feeding the black sun fear by fearing it, and that's what you get in reality, in this physical realm. And that's how you get the current world and society that we're in, this fear-based mind-controlled society and system. And they do this with religion. Like the Bible makes you think black sun below, well, that's evil, it's down there in hell. And so then they get you to go to Christ, which once you already fed the black sun fear, once you already had this fear feeding into the black sun, you think it's evil, then that's what you get from Christ. And then you go to Christ, and then it's already got you, it's already brought your fear into the physical realm. So it's already got you stuck in this, basically, this box of this fear that you fed into the black sun. So religion and what they teach in the Bible, this basically keeps this cycle going. You feed fear into the black sun, and then that's what you get from Christ, the sun above us. That's what you get in this physical realm. And then that's all what people's attention are going to. This basically this box of fear that they've already created by feeding their fear into the black sun, and then that's what's brought into this physical reality. See, the Bible originally, the knowledge of the Bible originally taught the truth about the black sun and the power of Saturn or Satan, and that it's completely different from the devil. And so the knowledge that's in the Bible, where it originally come from, it originally taught you this truth. But what happened was the Roman Church and the Council of Nicaea changed it. And so the Roman Empire, they wanted to basically place their bad intent into people's actions. So they get people to fear when they hear the black sun. So they're just feeding it fear, and then that's what gets brought into this physical realm by Christ the Son, and then that's what you have in reality. And people are just focused on giving their attention to Christ the Son, which has already got you stuck in this, basically this box of fear. So basically, the God in the Bible is really the ones who wrote the Bible, making you think they're God. Like all the versions of the Bible that we have today, they're all written by the Roman Church, the Roman Empire. And they all know the actual truth about the power of Saturn or Satan, but they want to control it. And this is the Roman Empire, this is the Vatican, this is where the devil has your soul. So Christians, the Christians today, they're actually worshiping the God of government and money that's created by the Roman Empire, because that's who wrote their Bible that they're reading. Really, you can tell by certain passages and certain scripts in the Bible, like the story of the Tower of Babel. Here's that passage from Romans 13. Yeah, it's clear that the God of the Bible is the God of the governments and money of the Roman Church. And it's also, there's the evidence that Christians to this day, they still vote in these leaders in government. Like they vote for these presidents who they think are Christian, but are actually like Freemasons and work for the secret societies of the Roman Church. And Christians are still using money. All these churches are like 501c3. They're fully funded and fully regulated by the government, which is all controlled by secret societies of the Roman Church. So what we're talking about is getting rid of all of this. And I mean, you never hear Christians talking about getting rid of money, getting out of government, and getting into paradise alive. Not dying and then supposedly going to heaven, which is actually the fake heaven. You have to realize you're in hell now, and you have to get out with your life. So what Quasi-Luminous is doing is basically, he's saying he's the Antichrist and Satan because he's taking Satan's power of the time and space of this world. And this is the power of Saturn or Israel or Abraham, the power of agriculture and the harvest. It's the power to sow a seed and reap what you desire. But you had to get it out of, you can't be focused on the physical realm that Christ the Son already has you in. And the ones that they would set themselves up as our rulers are limited to. You have to switch it to the Black Sun's infinite potential. So instead of being stuck in this cube, being stuck in this box of fear, people are feeding the Black Sun fear, and we're stuck in this box and this hexagon that we're physically stuck in. We need to go to the seed of life, the infinite potential for creation. So that's what Quasi-Luminous is doing, is getting everyone to focus their good intent coming from the Black Sun, and then that's what you get in this physical reality. And that's how we get to this Holy Grail. We have to get to this paradise alive. We can't be focused on because everyone has already been feeding the Black Sun fear, and that's all we get in this physical reality. That's how we get in this society that we're in. So we have to go with our good intent and feed that, and that's what we bring into this physical reality. And that's how we change this world into heaven on earth. Okay, so I'm going to be making some more videos about this, so make sure you stay tuned to my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.